The eventual fall of the Soviet Union resulting from the policies and actions, or rather the lack of actions taken by Mikhail Gorbachev, would go on to spell certain political and economic disaster. Gorbachev's ineptitude in upholding Leninist principle, despite claiming the necessity to, quote-unquote, revive a Leninist spirit and style in the Soviets, allowed for the entering of a more powerful right deviation to the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, giving rise to the likes of one Boris Yeltsin. With assistance from the United States and the Bill Clinton administration, Yeltsin was able to essentially rig the election against the still highly popular Communist Party and secure himself electoral victory. The aftermath of Yeltsinite policy and the introduction of the shock therapy method resulted in vast detriment for the people of Russia. As a result of the introduction of neoliberal economics into the Russian borders, the amount of people living in poverty was as high as 147 million in 1998, as opposed to the 14 million during the final days of the Soviet Union. Additionally, the world would see Russia's GDP be slashed in half, something that, quote-unquote, did not even happen during the German invasion in the Second World War. According to a Gallup poll from 2013, the aftermath of the Soviet Union is not lost on the people of the former Soviet republics. This survey was orchestrated as a means of discovering a general opinion of the dissolution of the USSR, with participants being asked whether they saw a benefit or a detriment from capitalist restoration. 11 former republics were examined, resulting in an overall 51% of residents seeing harm in the fall, over twice the amount of people who claim the fall was beneficial. Of the 11 countries surveyed, only 3 consider there to be significantly more benefit than harm: Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, and Azerbaijan, with Georgia narrowly seeing more improvement than detriment. The reinstallment of capitalism in Russia was designed to benefit the oligarchs that wormed their way in during the times of Gorbachev and the rise to prominence of Yeltsin. The Western influence in this stage brought about some of the most corrupt officials and actions of the late 20th century. The application of neoliberal shock therapy resulted in the social programs of Russia being systematically eradicated. All the while, with poverty on the rise, these oligarchs hoarded approximately $150 billion in a collection of foreign bank accounts and property investments. This history, this slow regression since the death of Stalin of the socialist USSR into the capitalist Russian Federation, and the foreign influence that helped pave the way for the establishing of a neoliberal Russia, speaks greatly upon Russia and its seemingly perpetual conflict with the West. Gorbachev, in his new thinking and the reintroduction of private property with little caution or control, went against one of the most integral aspects of political theory in the Soviet Union, the dictatorship of the proletariat. While Khrushchev indeed claimed that there was no need, quote-unquote, for the dictatorship of the proletariat long before he came to power, Gorbachev, in allowing for the further dissolution of the dictatorship of the proletariat, went against the very theory he was claiming to uphold: Leninism. The reintroduction of full-blown capitalism to Russia was considered a Cold War victory by the United States and the West in general.